Hey, what's up guys? My name is Rob. Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. I know it's been a while since I've been able to make a news-related format video for you guys. I put up a couple episodes, of course, of the Resident Evil Let's Play, and that's about it. I've just been really busy, so I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you guys on a news-related topic. I've got a move and all sorts of things coming up, and I've actually planned on making an update video for the channel pretty soon just to kind of give you guys a heads up. Videos will be slow coming for a little bit, a couple months maybe, but they won't go away. The channel's not stopping. I'm not dead, so I don't want you to worry or think that that's what's happening here. It's just been being busy with preparing for a couple things, and so I'll touch on that stuff later. Long story short, I haven't planned on doing a whole lot of news videos, let alone any news videos that didn't have the typical gameplay format where I was coming to you vlog style and just filming myself. But what I'm going to be talking about today is, of course, Nintendo's recently revealed beta for the YouTube Creators Program. And it's something that I certainly would have wanted to make a video about initially regardless, especially if I was on a regular schedule for videos. But I wasn't going to because it's been so hard for me to make videos. However, this has become a subject that is pretty controversial. A lot of people are sharing plenty of strong opinions about it on the internet and on YouTube. And I really just couldn't get away from it. And I do have feelings about it, obviously being a huge gamer, a huge Nintendo fan, and a YouTube channel that's a regular YouTube channel that does okay, you know? So I certainly have stake in this. And so I realized with the way a lot of people were reacting and dealing with things that it's something that I needed to talk about. So I'm talking about that today. Now, I haven't loved all of the... I don't want to say I haven't loved all of the opinions that I've been seeing and hearing and reading. I haven't necessarily loved the way that people are presenting these opinions. That is the other thing that sort of sparked me to want to make this video and have this conversation with you guys about what Nintendo's doing with this creator program. And I don't want to say that this is a response video exactly, and I definitely don't want to call anyone out. I'm not going to use any names, you know, big or small of YouTube. That's not my thing. I don't want to, try to ride the coattails and use a big YouTuber's name and try to get more views. I think that that is kind of shameless and disgusting. Even though I did make one video about PewDiePie way back in the day, but I didn't really call him out or anything. I don't really want to do that, and I don't want to call it anyone else even specifically, because then you get into this whole war, and I don't want to make this personal. This isn't about being personal. Yes, some people's videos and opinions on both sides of the fence definitely motivated me to talk about it, but I'm not really making this a one-on-one thing. This has nothing to do with any other person. It's just me, my feelings, and I want to share it with you guys and hear what it is you have to say about it. You know, and it's... People are really angry about this, okay? That's the crux of the thing. People are angry on both sides. I've seen mostly people angry at Nintendo, you know, basically lambasting the program, saying it's just not beneficial to the gamer, to the YouTube content creator, you know, to the people who want to support Nintendo and yada yada. And I agree with a lot of that. I'll bring that up in the video. And I've seen, you know, a smaller amount of people, a very, very small select group, who are actually mad at people who are mad at Nintendo. And that's understandable. You know, everyone's going to come to the defense of the people and the companies that they like, and I love Nintendo more than anybody, so I can appreciate that, and there is some of that I'm also going to talk about. But man, people are pissed, and I just can't get behind the people whining, screaming like babies, and swearing into their phone about this topic. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, that's not the way to do these things. I just can't get behind anger in videos. You know, okay, anger in a YouTube video or a video kind of format, I think only works when it's satirical. When it's the angry video game nerd who's doing it as a character and a script and an actor. Or even Angry Joe, who isn't doing it as an actor, but it's part of his shtick, and it's part of why he is what he is. And I like Angry Joe. I certainly don't always agree with the guy, but I like him because I appreciate the fact that his anger is really just his shtick. And that's what it's going to be, and that's fine. Now, when you're actually angry, and you are crying and whining into a camera that you are voluntarily putting on a public place that is known as the internet and YouTube, I'm lost for words. I'm at a loss for words. I just don't know what to do with that. But hey, to each their own. You know, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do, and if that's how you want to go about things, then you have fun with that. And I'm sure some people will like it and enjoy it and agree with you, and that's just the sad nature of things, so that is fine. Anyway, I want to talk about Nintendo's YouTube Creator Program, what it means to me and what I think about it. Again, as a gamer, a Nintendo fan, and a YouTube content creator. And, you know, I want to, because I don't really get behind the whole angry thing, you know, I have strong feelings about this, but you're not going to see me do a lot of what those other guys do. I want to be able to have a calm, you know, well thought out discussion with you guys. I want to be able to articulate my feelings and opinions on it. I think that that's important. That is easily the better way to go about things. And I want to talk about the good and the bad, because that's exactly what people should be doing, instead of just focusing on the good or just focusing on the bad. You know, I mean, there is both to this, which also goes back to what I mentioned at the beginning of this video, that we cannot forget that this is in beta form. This is the incomplete test market for Nintendo's YouTube Creator Program. Just like, I made this comparison already online as well, just like what Sony did when they beta tested PlayStation Now. And although the final now released version of PlayStation Now I don't think is great, it's certainly far better than what it was when they beta tested it. So the lesson learned is they were able to learn from people, the feedback, gamers, what was happening, what people in articles were talking about as far as PlayStation Now and the pricing when they were beta testing it. And they didn't fix everything, but they vastly improved it. And I'm willing to bet, and really hoping, that Nintendo does the same thing here, because they are my favorite company, and I want to support them in everything they do. I don't think everything they're doing here is perfect, and so that's why I want to talk about the good and the bad, because I'm not a blind Nintendo fan or gamer, and I don't think that anyone ever should be that way with anything, you know. So, anyway, let's get to it. The good and the bad. I'm going to talk about the good first. So, when you think about Nintendo and YouTube and the copyright claims and all these things, what do you first think of? Nintendo is too damn strict. They put copyright claims on everything. I've had it many times on my channel in the past. Rule to Review is monetized. I don't make a ton of money from it because I'm only a mediocre channel. I have like 1,300 subscribers, you know, which I'm happy with. But, you know, I'm not a big person who's making a living off of the money of YouTube. It's very little money I've received so far. Very little. But I am monetized, and, you know, that's fine. And when you monetize, that's when you are, excuse me, that is when you're going to see a copyright claim from any company out there. Nintendo is also certainly not the only company that has copyright claimed me, by the way. But I've certainly probably seen the most from them. Nothing that's done damage, nothing that's done damage to my channel or my stance. I've just had to acknowledge that it's a copyright claim, and once you, oh, excuse me, guys. Once you accept that copyright claim, then your channel is just no longer monetized, and that means that YouTube and the Google ad share and Nintendo are the only people making any money from the ads playing on that video. I no longer am. But it doesn't put my channel in like a bad stance, which can happen depending on what you do. So Nintendo's really strict. People have had problems with this for a while because people would love to show, you know, uninterrupted footage of Mario Kart and Super Mario 3D World, or Metroid this, or Zelda that, or what have you. I, of course, would love to be able to do that. What I've noticed is my Smash Brothers footage and my Hyrule Warriors footage has never been claimed. Mario Kart, like that. It doesn't matter what you do. If Mario Kart goes up, fucking forget about it. That shit's getting claimed. And, I mean, that sucks. I think that sucks. I know why they do it, and it doesn't make me super, super mad, but I think it makes me frustrated in comparison to so many of the other guys and people in the industry that don't do this. And it's like, Nintendo, I know you want to hold on to the strength of your brands, and I've talked about it before, how important that is, but I feel like this is not the best market to do that. This is the market where you need to be open with your gamers and your fans who are only doing this because they love you. And it also does, and have a backhanded beneficial way of helping you. And so this is one area where on YouTube specifically, I think that Nintendo's old-fashioned ideals don't hold up and do need to change. A lot of the other stuff I do agree with. The YouTube, not so much. I don't agree with that. So you think of Nintendo, they're really strict. What I like about the YouTube program is it shows that Nintendo is actually trying to work with people and trying to work with the culture that is streaming and gameplay footage and Let's Plays and YouTube video game content. You know, I think they are slowly understanding. And, you know, we know Nintendo, they're slow with these things. Even when they get them, they're very slow. So this is, we're in baby steps now, okay? So they're realizing that this is important, this is a big deal, this is a popular market. They're trying to find their way to work with the culture, even though it's maybe not something they would like to be doing. So that's the good that I see. They're trying to find a way to promote the usage of their video games and their content on YouTube for people who want to show their footage because they love Nintendo, they love the games, or they're doing a Let's Play, or maybe they want to talk bad about Nintendo or whatever, which we're going to have to get into that in the bad stuff in a minute. But, you know, if you want to make a video with YouTube stuff, they're trying to find a way to make it doable, you know, find their own kooky Nintendo way of going about things, and, you know, encourage people to be able to make content with their stuff. And I think that that part is really cool. And I applaud Nintendo for doing this because I know how fucking hard it probably is for them to be doing this. They don't want to, that is for sure. They have shown us time and again, they do not want to be dealing with this video game footage format that is happening in today's gaming culture. So I think it's cool that they're trying to say, hey, we'll just share the revenue with you. And that sounds great, especially when you say it that way. We're going to share the money with you. And, I mean, it also is great. It's a good thing, you know. You may or may not know, they set it up so that if you sign into the beta of the YouTube Creator Program, you can either monetize individual videos and you will receive 60% of the ad revenue, which, by the way, a lot of people don't seem to understand this, is also after YouTube takes their 30% cut. So it's not 60% of all of it, it's 60% of the remaining 70%. So there's that, okay? So your chunk as a YouTube creator is kind of being pulled out a little bit. But whatever, something is better than nothing, you know, so this is the good part of this. Something is better than nothing. So they're willing to give you 60% if you monetize individual videos. They're going to give you 70% if you monetize your entire channel. Now, I don't really know how that stuff works, okay? There's some of that. There's some talk about if you can or can't use third-party stuff, and if Nintendo is trying to be an overall actual network like Polaris or something where you can just be involved with them as your YouTube network for whatever kind of content you make, or if you can't have third-party games in your video with Nintendo content. I think I heard something like that somewhere. I don't know. I don't know the full details. If you know any more, please share below, and I'm not going to pretend like I know and talk about it like I do. This is an aspect I don't understand, so I'm not going to talk anymore about that part, you know. And it should also be noted, I said this at the beginning, I always need to reiterate this, you know, I am an equal opportunity gamer. A lot of people who know me or have been following the channel for a while have heard me say this, and I know I repeat myself, but with every new video comes new followers or new people who find the videos or the channel, and sometimes who just see the one video and never go and check out anything else Rule 2 Review has to offer. That's fine, but for those people, I need to reiterate these points in a video like this. I am an equal opportunity gamer. I love and play everything available to me. I have a PS4, an Xbox One, a PS3, an Xbox 360, a pretty nice gaming PC, a 3DS, and of course a Wii U, which does also play Wii games. And through that, I love everybody, but it is Nintendo that's my favorite. It is the Wii U that is my primary gaming console because I think it is better than all of those other options. PC is great for its own different things, you know, but I still ultimately prefer my Wii U and my Nintendo stuff. I love it. So, I love Nintendo and I support them. And so, now I kind of lost my train of thought. You know, the point is, I'm trying to still be open with my love of Nintendo, but still also be able to see the problems that they've had in the past. So, going back to the revenue part of this, what they're doing is they're sharing either 60 or 70% based on if you're monetizing videos or channels. And that's cool to be able to give some money back, to say that we want to share it with you. We like that you like us. We like that you want to show our content. Here is something for that. So we can get a little bit, and to be fair, what they're taking is less than half, so that is cool. They're giving the majority of what's left after YouTube takes their cut to the content creators, to you and me and everyone else who kind of does this stuff, and that's pretty cool. That is definitely pretty cool. So that's the good that I see. It's Nintendo trying to find a way to help, and they're working with the culture a little bit, even though we know it's something they probably don't really want to be doing. And they're doing it the best way possible for them that they see. They want to make money, you know, they do own the content. There is never any doubt about that, you know, they own the content, so they have a right to do this. Like, that's kind of the weird thing, is at the end of the day, love it or hate it, they do have the right to do what they're doing. And I also acknowledge and agree with and support that aspect. I can't say that what they're doing is factually wrong on paper. It's not. But let me talk about the bad stuff. And again, this is hard to do as a huge Nintendo fan. You know, they are the company that I support and love the most, even against all the other gaming things that I do experience, you know. And I think that the reason that this is seen as bad to a lot of people, and why people like PewDiePie and Boogie and stuff have spoken out against it, and I agree with what they've said, by the way, the reason they're speaking out against it is it's bad by comparison, okay? That's what I think people are not really paying attention to. Look at the rest of the YouTube gaming culture, and there's a couple of companies like Square Enix or Sega that are also pretty heavy with the copyright claims, okay? Nintendo is right amongst them, but with the exception of that small few, most companies have learned that it doesn't really matter. The copyright claim thing that was like a huge issue a year ago has kind of dissipated, and I haven't seen very many in the last year at all. And I think that that's pretty cool. I think that companies are realizing it is a benefit. It is free advertising. This is part of the meta world we live in. with the internet and YouTube available to us, where it is basically free advertising. People will play your games. Rich of Review Tech USA, who I like, even though he's very polarizing and a lot of people don't, and even though he doesn't always have the best things to say about Nintendo, I do still like him. He did come out kind of against this, but he was actually pretty fair to Nintendo. So I recommend you watch his video on this, because he didn't really get mad at Nintendo or even say they're wrong. He did say he disagrees with it, but he's pretty fair to them. And he made some really good points when comparing what they're doing to other networks, and the fact that this free advertising is a good thing. He also makes another good point that I agree with, that with certain story-based games like Mass Effect or The Last of Us or things like that, or a game like Heavy Rain or something, for example, where it's really just about the story, you know, there's a problem with putting that kind of content up, I think, by copyrighted material. So I can understand a company saying, okay, no footage of The Last of Us can go up because it's going to spoil the story, because that's the main hook to that game. Or the final hours of Mass Effect 3, the end of that trilogy, don't put that stuff online. That stuff I can get behind, you know, and he makes that point, and I agree with that, you know. But going back to the comparison thing, this is the crux of why I think what Nintendo is doing is not good yet. Hopefully they fix this, but as it stands right now in its beta form, the problem is most other companies have no problem doing copyrights. I think anyone should be able to do what they do on YouTube, what we do on YouTube, and be able to show this footage without Nintendo coming down on us, because all these other companies have understood that it's a benefit. So all these other companies are lax. Nintendo is the one of a very few who doesn't seem to understand that. Also, for the other companies, third-party game developers or networks that are sharing ad revenue with companies, or with YouTube creators. Oh, I'm confusing my terms, guys. I'm so sorry. All the other networks and third-party game developers that are sharing ad revenue with YouTube creators, the way Nintendo is trying to do with their 60 and 70%. The difference is most of those entities are sharing the lion's share of the ad revenue with people. I mean, up to 90% from a lot of them. That is what the YouTube creator is still getting. The company or the network is getting 10% or 15%. The YouTube creator is getting 85 or 90%. And that's fantastic. Now, of course, the argument kind of swings itself back, and the whole thing becomes the very, very old school argument of if you should make any money off of YouTube. And that is a whole element I don't really want to get into. Because you could just debate that for hours, you know. The long and the short of it is, the culture exists as it does. YouTube exists as it does. You can monetize with YouTube. You can make money from videos. And most networks and game companies will pay you all or most of the revenue. That's just how it is. You can agree or disagree with it. And you wouldn't be wrong to do either. But you do have to acknowledge the day and age we live in. And it is this way. This is the structure as it stands. So because that's the structure, I do think that Nintendo and any other company has a responsibility to work within the means that is being provided by other companies. So Nintendo, solely by comparison, is doing this not as efficiently or beneficial to the YouTube creator as most other companies. That is where the problem lies. So I don't feel like I deserve any more or less from anyone based on any kind of video. I feel blessed to be able to make any money off of YouTube, and that if I maybe really wanted to, in a couple years, I could make this my full-time job if I became popular enough and people cared. That's a great thing. I don't need to do that to keep doing it. I have a really great, successful day job. I have a home all by myself that I can pay for with my day job. It's great. But at the same time, if I could do this for a living, maybe I would in a couple years. Who knows? We'll see how that goes. So it's great that we can do this, but it's not like anyone's obligated to have to demand this money, and I don't think that Nintendo should be so strict with this, because other companies are providing a great conduit for people to market and promote their games and content, and also still make money and even make a living if they want to. And all that, the only people that win are the gamers and the people who like to follow people who they like on YouTube, you know? I follow so many people on YouTube, and I love that I can go to YouTube for entertainment all the time, and that by doing so, I'm also kind of supporting, you know, games that I like, game companies that I like, and the YouTube content creators that I like. That's pretty cool. And so Nintendo doing it this way, it's not like the worst thing in the world either. You know, I mean, that's the whole sticky thing, is it's not like it's horrible. I mean, again, it's cool that they're doing something. And at the end of the day, we're only talking about a couple cents or a couple of bucks per video anyway, when you go between, you know, 70% and 90%. I mean, what are we really talking about here? But people have a standard to compare Nintendo's YouTube creator program to. And that is why so many people are upset about it. And why I agree that it's nice that they're trying, but they haven't figured it out yet. They're not quite there. And I hope that this beta form helps them realize what they need to do to get there. It would be nice if Nintendo just didn't care at all, you know, or if they did something more proactive to help promote people without having to share the money and saying you can have all the money or 95% of the money. I mean, why not do that? I just think that that's where it comes down to. And if you do go to the argument about whether or not you should be able to make money on YouTube, I mean, that I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but that's kind of a sticky scenario. I mean, the reason I think it's fine and people shouldn't complain about that is that it's not like YouTube is exclusive. And it's not like YouTube doesn't allow for anybody, even you, to be able to make videos, make content, have your own channel, be successful. And if you figure out a way to do it, and if you're entertaining, if you're smart, if you're funny, if you're intellectual, if you know how to present the content for whatever content you want to create in an entertaining and creative way, you have the ability to do it, you know? I don't care if you're a gaming channel or a knitting channel or a religious channel or a sports channel. It doesn't matter what the fuck you're talking about or what your videos are like. You can use special effects or no special effects, editing or no editing. There's people I know who I'm good friends with on YouTube who all they do is do Google Hangout stuff, and they just talk into the microphone and record it, and then it's posted to their channel afterwards, and they make amazing content, have wonderful conversations, and they do okay, and hopefully their channel gets bigger and bigger, and they're putting almost no, you know, post-production work into it. And so there's no barrier holding anyone back from doing this on YouTube. If you hate your job and you're just mad and bitter at the people who are finding a way to be successful on YouTube, that's your own problem. That's your own fault. The only person holding you back is you. It's not YouTube. It's not the game companies. It's not Nintendo. It's not fucking anybody. It's only you. So I don't think that conversation really holds that much water in this respect with the ad revenue and what Nintendo is doing in the gaming community on YouTube. It just doesn't, you know? I mean, if you want to be a frickin' man-child and yell and swear and scream into your frickin' video camera about something that makes you mad and upset, then, hey, you know what? You can do it. I think it's completely crazy and not entertaining or fun to listen to or watch at all. But you have the right to do it. You can do it. And YouTube and anyone else who likes your content will support you in doing it. So, as sad of a fact as that may be to me personally, it's a fact, and that's just the way it is. So figure it out, figure yourself out what you want to do, and quit complaining about YouTube and how all these other companies are doing it. So in summary, wrapping this up, 22 minutes in. Of course, this was going to be a long video. We all know it's what I do. You know, I am a YouTube content creator. My YouTube content is 99% gaming related, and of that, I would say 60 to 70% is Nintendo related. I like to talk about anything. I want Rule 2 Review to represent all facets of games, and I do certainly talk about any company or anything going on newsworthy, and I post gameplay footage and Let's Plays of multiple different systems and consoles. But there's no doubt that, especially if you know Rule of 2 Review or me, it is certainly mostly Nintendo I talk about, you know? I mean, I would say 70% of my videos and content is Nintendo related, and that's just by the dint of my love for Nintendo and the fact that they're not only my favorite company and the stuff that I care about to talk the most, but it's also the most interesting to talk about. I feel like when you talk about what Nintendo is doing or is saying or what's going on with them, it just feels more interesting, more substantial, you know? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, and maybe it's just me as a Nintendo fan, you know, having to make a video very difficultly speaking bad about something Nintendo's doing. I like talking about Nintendo for that reason. So that's me. That's my angle and my perspective in this. I have that little bit of stake in it, like I said. And there is good and there is bad. And I think that is an okay thing. We don't have to feel betrayed or upset or angry no matter what side of the argument you stand on. There's no right or wrong opinion. I mean, even the people who are making videos that I don't agree with, as far as how they present their opinions aren't wrong. I talked about what I feel about on the good and bad. So if you're supporting Nintendo, you're not wrong. If you're angry at Nintendo, you're also not wrong. That's just one of these things, you know? I mean, you don't always have to stake your fucking claim in one side or another, because sometimes it's just what it is. And I think maybe it's easier for me to say that with this because I've said this a couple times. This is in beta. So, whoops. This is in beta. They're testing the waters. This could improve or not improve, you know, once it's all said and done, and who knows what happens here. But because it's unknown, this is the time where we're supposed to give this kind of feedback. This is the stuff that we need to hope Nintendo notices, reads, watches, and pays attention to, so that they can see, okay, they're taking notes. This is Iwata taking note. Oh, okay. Please understand, we don't want to do this. We can't. People do not like this. People do not like this. People do like this. People do like this. Maybe this is how, when we release final YouTube Creators Program, this is what it's going to be like, and it will be better than it is now. That's what we want. That's what we're hoping happens. That's what I hope happens. So, I have no delusions. No one from Nintendo will fucking ever see my video. It's not going to happen. But I can dream, you know? So I definitely encourage anyone out there to also keep sharing their opinions. But just think about how you do it, man. Don't be angry like a child. That's disgusting and pitiful and despicable. And there's a lot of people out there that, sadly, I've noticed over the last week that should be kind of embarrassed. I think that you should be pretty embarrassed about doing that stuff, you know? And, you know, I mean, these are my thoughts, of course. I definitely need to hear what you guys have to say. I have a feeling this has been a controversial topic, so this video may be really controversial. I have no idea how people will react to it. I'm just sharing my thoughts, you know. There's good and there's bad to take away from this, and we just have to play the waiting game now and see how it all plays out. That's what it really comes down to, you know. And I mean, you know, I guess in closing, you know, to any of those other YouTube creators and people who are really angry about this on one side or another, I think that you need to just pay attention to what YouTube's doing, you know? I mean, hey, if anything, the fact that you can make your video the way you do and cry and whine and bitch and moan into a camera and, like, genuinely angry, crying, and mad about this and post it on YouTube and people follow it and like it or talk about it or whatever. I mean, that kind of shows that YouTube is really doing the right things and is being as inclusive as they're meant to be, you know? So I just feel like that's something that you need to pay attention to, you know? Just don't be so damn angry. Quit being so angry, you know? So, yeah, that's it, you know? Thanks for watching. I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. I know there's probably going to be a pretty heated debate about this, you know? I mean, people have been talking about it on other videos as well. So, I think I'm spent, man. I'm spent. I love Nintendo. I support Nintendo. I will always support Nintendo. I don't think... Ultimately, what they're doing here is not the best, but there's time to fix it, so let's just wait and see. So that's it. I'm going to cut myself off. I'm done. What do you guys think? Thanks for tuning in and watching. If you don't hate me after watching this video, feel free to subscribe to Rule of Two Review if you want. Usually, there's video gameplay content. For this video, I wanted to not put gameplay content and pull the veil off and just make it a genuine me to you conversation when you can see someone's face and their eyes and expression. There's no real hidden meaning or agenda. You can really understand the context of the person who's saying these words and sharing these strong opinions. And it was important for me to make sure that that is coming across to you guys as I talk to you about this pretty heated topic. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time on a regular video for Rule of Two Review.